Hello, everybody. It's Victor back again with my second episode of Vic's D&D Fix. Last podcast went well. I'm actually using my good microphone this time. Hopefully, I will have better sound. I won't be having to hide underneath a blanket this time. It's what I did last time. But yeah. I hope everyone is doing well. Last time I introduced who I am as a DM and talked a little bit about what one of my characters, and I talked about my game rules and stuff like that. I also talked briefly about the world. I'm thinking today I'm going to go a bit deeper for the first bit of the world, and then I'm going to concentrate on two of my characters. So I won't be going super deep into the world. I'm going to try to split things up. So today I'm going to be talking about how the world looks. The world is split up into a grid field, kinda like there's rivers splitting the world. The map the players can be on. There's rivers splitting large rivers, splitting it into different land masses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 land masses. And on these land masses there are guilds. There are no kingdoms in this world. There have been kingdoms in the past, but those have all fell for one reason or another that are plot relevant. Each guild is about, well, there are smaller guilds too, but main guilds like imagine, if you guys know Fairy Tail, the anime, it's kinda like that. With, you can imagine that each one of these guilds are about the size of Fairy Tail, the guild, and have about the same renown. Though not all, far from all of these guilds are good guilds, so to speak. Some guilds are good, some guilds are neutral, some guilds are evil. Now, every guild has members of it that are good, every guild has members of it that are evil, etc. One of the guilds that might be called a dark guild is the guild called Joyful Killers. And well, yeah, the name might suggest a bit what they are all about, doesn't it? Another guild that might be seen as a bit of a darker guild is Abandoned Plague. Again, a bit on the nose there. But the fun thing with these guilds are they have all existed for different amounts of time. A couple are like less than 20 years old, and there's only one guild that is about 2,500 years old. And that guild is, let me see, a Forsaken God. I can tell you guys, they were not always called that. But a lot of the older guilds were created by members of the Forsaken God. Now, most guilds, except the newer ones, have had multiple guild leaders. Like, it's not the same person that created it that is sitting there now. The guild for the party is part of, Transitum, that guild is, I think, 250 years old. And the current leader has been the leader of it for the past 60 years. So, like, there are... I have created some backstory for each guild. I'm in the process of creating more deeper backstory for all the guilds. But my players won't be interacting with a lot of them for a good long while, because they are on their second quest. They haven't even gotten to leave the landmass Transitum is on. Well, they could have if that shows it. They get to choose quests. But the further they have to travel, the harder the quest. Because Transitum has... You can think of it like this. Each guild has a region where they get all the easy quests from, like all the low to mid level quests. But when you start getting higher, there's multiple guilds that can get them. Like, if Transitum, it's an everything guild. They accept all missions, and the members get to choose whatever they want to do. Now, more things that are evil in nature, like, you know, take over the world kind of deal, that they're not part of that. But assassinations, kidnappings, stuff like that, they can accept those quests. That does not mean everyone is going to accept those quests. I do like Transitum is more good than evil, but they have evil members on the chart. That is like good, neutral, evil, chaotic, lawful, neutral chart. So they are not, you know, pure snowflakes, that kind of deal. They have some hardened criminals, and they have some people who wouldn't harm a fly if it didn't attack them first. It's so my players have the most freedom. I've created Transitum to be the most free guild. Other guilds have law more, like it has rules. Like rule number 1: if the guild master's word is law. So if he orders you are doing it. You accepted that by joining the guild. And number 2, you are not allowed to kill guild members. And rule number 3: if you accept a mission, you follow through with it, unless it is clearly, the mission is clearly false. Like if someone says, I need help to find my cat, and they send it in as a low level quest, and the quest turns out to be, you know, there's a Tarrasque there, then they can turn back and inform, because if the mission level is falsified or the parameters are falsified, then it's free game to leave. But yeah. And those are the only real rules. Most guilds are part of towns, cities, have cities spawning around them because it's protection to be near a guild. No bandit is going to attack the town, village that a guild is in. But certain guilds are hidden. Like you can't find them. They have like outposts where you can send missions to. That kind of deal. And the guilds sometimes come into combat. They haven't for the past 20-30 years. But there have been some new guilds spawning. And tensions are rising. But most guild leaders are powerful enough to dissuade anyone from attacking. And guilds sometimes change names. But that's something I will go into another time. Now, this world has a long history, much story. It is very fun for me to create. And it's very fun for me to watch my players be in it. But like, yeah. There are, in this world, there are marshes, there are jungles, there are icy parts, there are deserts, there are mountainous areas, there are forest areas, there are grasslands, a little bit of everything. And there are even some places where lava flows through the ground and cracks like blood and seeps like blood from veins from the earth. But I was going to talk about a couple of characters today too. Let's see. I'm going to introduce you to 2 characters today. Victor, named after myself, and Ferox, not named after me. I will be starting by introducing you guys to Victor. He is someone who really enjoys a good old fire. His full name in this story that this campaign that I'm talking about currently is Victor Victorson. He is 5.6 feet tall. He is 22 years old, 1 year younger than me actually. He is not an evil character, but he's not a good character either. He does things for his own self-interest and his own code. He sees the world through a lens of that he knows that without fire, without things without nature burning every now and then. The nature just can't heal. Like, nature needs fire periodically. He is a wildfire druid. And he was raised in a commune with other druids. Druids let's see. He was raised in a commune of druids of the shepherd. And as you know, druids of the shepherd are protectors of animals, fae, and they live in nature, they live in the wilds, they live off the wilds. And for the longest time, Victor thought he was going to be one of them. He was training to become a druid of a shepherd. But when he was very young, when he was 12 years old, he stared into the fire, and the fire stared back. He absorbed the fire into himself, and the first thing he did was burn down an ancient tree that had stood there for thousands of years, because he recognized the fire told him that tree was sucking the life out of everything. The people thought that tree was protecting them, but he knew the truth. It was weakening them. It was weakening nature itself. So all of its energy had to be returned to the cycle. So he burnt it down. And that was not popular in his commune. His parents barely managed to convince the others not to execute him. He was instead expelled from the commune, exiled from his people. And he has gone on many adventures. He joined this guild because he met the guild leader, Edward, and one of Victor's ideals is freedom. And Edward saw that this young man was going on the completely wrong track, that he was giving in to evil, that he was, instead of controlling his powers, letting his powers control him. So he invited him to a guild so he could meet people, get bonds, and learn how to control himself. Now, this worked out very well. Victor joined the guild when he was 15. And he has been part of it for 7 years now. Almost 8. And he he sees the inherent. He still feels the calling of the fire. Feels the call to burn everything down. But with help from his allies, from his friends, he has donned armor made of a tree hard as steel. He has learned a new way to use the flame, so his fire now shines blue. And he still, when off from missions, when not talking to his friends, he still sits and stares into the flames, hears the whispers, and he still feels the calling to burn. But he has better control now. And where his story will go. Will he completely gain control? Or will he completely lose it? Well, that's up to the players. And boy, will it be fun. And then we have the second character I was going to talk about today. Ferox. Ferox is a strange being. He is also 23 years old. Well, he's 23, Victor's 22. But he has been part of the guild for the past 10 years. He is a tall man, but he's very short for his race. Though he does not agree with what his race is, because he was not raised by... He's a Cyclops. He was not raised by Cyclops. He was raised by orcs for a couple of years. So he has always thought of himself as an orc. And he is not naturally green like orcs, so he paints himself to be green because he needs to correct it, because he's supposed to be green. He's an orc. He always finds it weird that he only has one eye, but hey, he's still an orc because his mama and his papa is an orc, and that is, yeah. He was always a strange boy. He was always stronger than the other kids. Even as an orc, even the orcs. But they knew he was a Cyclops. But he never really got as tall as a Cyclops should. He's only 9 feet tall. And that's 3 feet tall, shorter than most Cyclops. But his clan got attacked by, well, another clan and got wiped out when he was 11. He was never a fighter. He was a fisherman. He was training to be the best fisherman that he could be. He liked sitting and fishing. But the day before the attack, he sat there. He sat there fishing, and then he saw it. He saw a great rainbow-colored fish, bigger than anything he has ever seen, jump up from the river and swallow the sun. And then it became night. And after that, he went back and went to sleep because it's night, he should sleep. But he never made it back. He took one step and then he passed out. And when he awokened in the morning, his clan was gone, the tents were burnt, and he raged. But when he raged, something strange happened. Flowers and vines started to burst from the ground around him. A bolt of light shot out from him into the ground. And he was suddenly 30 feet up in the air. He had become a wild magic barbarian. He doesn't really know this. All he knows is when he gets really angry, strange things happen. And he doesn't know why. He doesn't understand it. He's still a fisherman. But he was an angry man. Young boy. He was an angry child. So he just went around and got into fights until one day he challenged Edward, the guild leader, and well, he lost almost immediately. But he got invited to a new clan, to a new home, because Edward saw in him a spark that he wished to protect. A spark of innocence, a spark of... He saw who Ferox could be. Now, Ferox is never going to be an evil creature. He is extremely kind, but he was raised by orcs. And he's not the smartest creature. He's not the most dexterous creature either. But he's strong, he's healthy, and he's daring. But of course, you can't keep him from the river for too long. He still needs to sit down and fish, to calm his nerves, to become himself. He is a kind soul, but he's not to be tested. And how his adventure ends, where his path ends up, I'm looking forward to see, because he is one of my favorites. And that has been both Victor and Ferox. I hope you guys like this way of me telling their stories, because these are the non-spoilery backstories. I don't mind if my players hear them, because it doesn't tell much about the characters' ideals, what they want, if they're evil, if they're good. Except Ferox, but Ferox my players have already interacted with enough to know who he is. But I hope you guys enjoy. This has been Bix D&D Fix. I'm now going to hope that every sound saved, because otherwise I will be quite sad. I will try to do maybe 1 or 2 episodes a week, depending on how much schoolwork I have. Some weeks I might not do an episode, but I'm at least going to do all of my characters in this campaign. And then might do backstories on the guilds after. But yeah, thank you for watching. Listening. Hope you have a good day, and bye bye.